I'm going to go turn the live stream camera on. That'll help.
Now you get to ring the bell again.
No. The sound was on. It was just looking out that way. A few announcements before we begin our service this morning. First of all, welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln on Sunday morning. It is good to see all of you here. A couple seat back and tray table announcements. We are still in the midst of a global pandemic, so we are still asking that you keep your masks on while you're in this building. As we have hymns in this room, we ask that you hum rather than sing full voice along with them. I know that's really hard. And last, while we are at full capacity, we do ask that folks register so that we can contact trace who's in this building at what time. And I can see looking out that there are actually considerably more of you here than registered. So I will leave the implications up to you, other than to say, please do register. It will allow us to better track who's in the building if we do need that information.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's lovely to see you all here, and this is a strange and weird time for all of us. So, on that note, we'll begin with music. And in fact, we'll begin with Gather the Spirit. I just realized I cut off my head in the live stream, so.
Let's all hum.
We light our chalice this morning with words from the Reverend Richard Gilbert, who writes, "We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome, who enter this hall as a homecoming, who have found here room for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is the Reverend Oscar Sinclair. The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community, uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and our world. It is a big vision. We celebrate it each time we are together in whatever form that takes, whether that's here or on our live stream running simultaneously. So whether this is your first time here or your 500th, if you are one of the new members we are recognizing today, if you have been a member of this church for 50 years, if you are here sitting in the pew or the chair, I should say, you'd think after almost 5 years I'd have that one right. Or if you are sitting at home, maybe you have a pew at home, maybe that's what that was about. If you come here hopeful or heartbroken, whatever your age, gender, skin color, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We are about the work of transformation in this church. We'll talk more about that later. But the thing that I start every service with is this. If this is a place that is transformative in your life, don't keep it a secret. Go tell people. The kiss of death for a church is to be the best kept secret in its town. We don't want to be that. So if this is a place that means something to you, go show it in your life. With that, I will turn it over to our guest musician.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Woo. I'm flying solo. So here we go.
You have all of us. We're not flying solo.
That's true.
Yes, absolutely, I'm done.
I'm great. Look, Mom, no glasses. Just a small dedication to my UU family.
Good morning. My name is Chelsea Krafka, and I am the Director of Religious Education here at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. And you might have noticed that there's a piece of paper and a writing utensil on your chair. We have an activity which we're hoping that you will participate in our service today. I'm about to read a story, and I have a terrific helper named Jason Slaughter who was willing to help at the very, very last minute. Our story shares some encouraging words for someone who is going through a change in their life. Be brave. You can do it. Keep going. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold value in our third principle, which speaks to the acceptance of one another and encouragement in our spiritual growth. As you listen to our story, you might think about what words have resonated with you along your own path and journey when you have been going through a transition. When you have moved from point A to point B, when you have swam from one side to the other, maybe you were a third grader and then became a fourth grader. When you have walked along a road to get from here to there. What we're asking you to do is please write or draw on your piece of paper a word or a phrase. You're all looking at me very intently. What is my homework? What are you telling me to do? A word or a phrase that you have appreciated hearing, or something that you would have wanted to hear as you went through a change in your life. And if you're online, please type your word or your phrase into the chat during the story. We'll be sharing these words with the congregation later in our service. Oscar and I will be sharing your words. You won't have to share your own words. It'll become a little bit more clear as I'm reading the story. Listen to what Jason is saying, and you'll get a good feel for the kind of thing we're hoping for. So Jason, if you would, please, you're welcome to remove your mask as you tell the story. What the Road Said by Cleo Wade. Have you ever wanted to go in a different direction? Have you ever wondered if there was something more, something out there, something just different? I did too. Then one day I was walking my usual way home when out of nowhere, for no reason at all, almost as if it were magic, a road appeared. I could not believe my eyes, so I walked over to it and I said to the road, "Where do you lead?" And the road said,
"Be leader and find out."
"How do I start?" I asked. Well, the road smiled and said,
"You have already started.
"Well, what happens when I get there?"
We have just begun.
said the road.
Do not skip straight to the ending. Enjoy the beginning and middle too.
"Which way do I go?"
That is your choice to make."
said the road. "But what if I go the wrong way?" The road curved a little, almost as if it were giving me a hug, and said,
Do not worry. Sometimes we go the wrong way on your way to the right way.
What if I get scared?
That is okay. You are brave.
Said the road. But what does it mean to be brave? I asked. The road guided me through a very gloomy forest. And even though I was frightened, I trusted the road. And as I took one step and then another step after that, the road gently whispered,
Being brave is when you are afraid of doing something, but you do it anyway. Do not let what scares you keep you from continuing on your path.
will I always move forward?
Not always.
Said the road. Why not?
Because sometimes you will stumble backward and sometimes you will stand still.
What if I fall?
Everyone falls at some point,
Said the road.
but I will always be there when you land.
What if I get lost?
There are some days that feel long and dark, but I promise that no matter what, I will give you the evening stars and morning sun to light your way.
What if I grow weary or get hurt?
I will give you trees of all shapes and sizes to shelter you when you need to rest and heal.
Said the road. What if I get lonely?
You are never alone.
Said the road. What if I change?
Come with me.
Said the road. And as I moved forward, the road introduced me to a caterpillar and a family of seeds. We did not stay long. The road began taking me on a journey through the seasons. I watched summer turn to fall, and fall turn to winter, and as spring was upon us, I realized we had gone in one big, beautiful circle. I looked down and found I was standing in front of the caterpillar and the seeds once more. Only the caterpillar was no longer a caterpillar, and the seeds had turned to flowers of every color swaying in the sun. The road then raised me up and said,
All things grow and change. That is the magic of being alive. You too will find your wings. You too will bloom. No living thing is meant to stay the same.
what if I need help on my journey?
Ask your fellow travelers along the way.
What if they're mean to me?
Lead them to kindness.
Said the road. How? By being kind? What if they want to fight?
Lead them to peace.
Said the road. But how do I lead them to peace?
By listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you are all on this journey together.
What if the world around us is filled with hate?
Lead it to love.
How?
By sharing the power of your love with it.
Said the road. But what if something unexpected happens?
Keep going.
What if there are mountains that feel too tall to climb? What if there are rivers that feel too wide to cross? What if I get my heart broken? What if I feel stuck? What if giving up is easier?
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Said the road. What if I can't do it?
You can.
Said the road. How do you know?
Because you have come this far.
Said the road. I said to the road, where do you lead? And the road said,
Be a leader and find out.
that is the end of our story. Thank you, Jesus.
Each week we take up a collection to support this congregation or our partners in the wider world. We'll do that now, because we are still in a pandemic, the ushers will not pass a plate, but you can give by texting 73256 to UC Lincoln. I'm sorry. Text UC Lincoln to 73256 and your offering will be gratefully received. In addition, as the offering plays, if you've been writing down words on these pieces of paper, words that you have appreciated hearing or something you have wanted to hear as you went through a change in your life, or if you are on the live stream, if you would type those words in. If you're here in the room as the offering plays, please pass those words forward. We will use them later in the service. The offering will now be gratefully received. And I believe this is Michelle's second song.
What?
Sorry, our guest musician was writing.
Come here, you.
Check 1, 2. All around familiar places, worn out places, and our faces, and nervous for the daily racing, going nowhere, going nowhere, and the tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. Hide my head, I want to drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. I find it kind of funny, and I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, I find it hard to tell. When people run in circles, it's a very, very bad word. Bad word. Bad word. Bad word. Children wait for the day they feel good. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Make you feel the way every child should. Sit and listen, sit and listen. I went to school and I'm very nervous. No one knew, no one knew. Hello teacher, what's my lesson? Look right through me. Right through me. And I find it kind of funny, and I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it tell you, 'cause I find it hard to take. People run in circles. It's very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world.
Each week we set aside time in our service to mark the joys and sorrows of our gathered life together. In a moment, I'll ask you to speak the words or the names of folks you are holding in sorrow into this shared space. At the same time, the folks in the live stream type those names into the shared online space. As I hear names here, I'll speak them so that folks in the live stream can hear them. And as I see names in the live stream, I will speak them back into this space. We do this because we are a gathered community, because we are interconnected, that what happens to one of us matters to all of us. So what are the names that we are carrying in sorrow this morning? Renata Lamb? Langen?
Pat and Julie.
Kat and Julie?
Pat.
Pat and Julie.
Sophia Dobsowitz.
Sophia Dobsowitz. Wendy.
Carrie's family.
Carrie's family?
Carrie.
Terry's family.
Deb.
Deb.
Bill Weddleton, my father who passed this spring.
Bill Weddleton, who passed this spring. In the live stream, Jean Eileen Durgan Clinchard, my late husband Bruce, Don Powell, Dana, and the Clifford Geese family. We know as well that life is not only sorrow, that we are here together as much to celebrate shared joy as we are to mark loss. In a moment, we're going to celebrate folks who are graduating, folks who are joining our congregation. We'll get to those names. But before we do, what are the names that you are carrying in celebration this morning?
The A Street Band rehearses again today.
The A Street Band rehearses again today. That is a good thing.
Ow! Allison.
Allison.
My sister Barbara Rook. Hi, Barb.
Barbara Rook.
My brother Danny's gonna have a baby.
Ooh, not even
Was like her.
Chelsea's brother Danny is going to have a baby, or rather his wife is. Michelle.
Green, yellow, and red dots because it means we're here in person.
Green, yellow, and red dots because it means that we are here in person.
Having dinner with good friends.
Having dinner with good friends.
Trevor and I are celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary.
Trevor and Kate's 25th wedding anniversary. In the YouTube chat, there's notes that former member James and partner Laura Lee welcoming new baby Emerson. My Aunt Sue, and a joy that TransCanada canceled the Keystone XL pipeline. Which was the first weekend I was called here, was the protest in Lincoln. That was about 3 days after we moved to Nebraska. For all of these and so many more, we hold these names and these moments in our hearts. And for those not yet spoken but no less deeply felt, we hold them as well. Continue with our next hymn, Bright Morning Stars. Oh, and Barbara and Al's 49th anniversary.
These are some of the words from the folks who passed them in here in our congregation. Risk the first step. Healing is not linear. This is life. You are loved. Offer peace, love, kindness. I am brave. I am strong, and I can do this. It gets better. The road may get terribly bumpy, but you will get to where you need to be as long as you keep trying. Have hope. You are enough. You already have everything you need to be whole. It's okay to be alone. One step after the last one. You only have to make it through one step at a time. Take your next step with me. May we hold hands. Give yourself grace. Be yourself. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you pick yourself up. Keep going. Remember to ask for help. Enjoy each day. Allow over. Understand now. Embrace next. Don't doubt yourself. Accept what is. Expect resolution. Sunrise or sunset, you choose. Many more. Oscar, do you have some from those online?
These were comments from our folks online. You are never alone. You are enough. Keep going. I'm cheering you on. I'm here to support you. Switch the camera. There might be a metaphor in that last one.
Ushers, if you would please come and collect these. We will have further instruction momentarily. Thank you. The Unitarian Universalist Bridging Ceremony is a rite of passage where we celebrate our high school seniors and send them forth into the world with the strength and values that Unitarian Universalism and this congregation have given them. Today we honor an amazing youth who is making this transition. Annika Wamstead Evans just graduated from Lincoln High, and she cannot physically be here with us today as she is traveling, but she has offered a video for us to watch. So Bob, if you would please, let us listen to Annika's words.
It's strange to think I'm out of high school and going into college in Indianola, Iowa, to study music performance and history at Simpson College. Growing up here at the church has provided many experiences and memories for me, such as playing on the playground or in the tree grove with friends, learning about different religions and their holidays in my REL classes, learning about my body and myself in my OWL classes, and then about thousands upon thousands of different stories and memories in my RGL classes. Along with memories and friendships, I've also learned so much about what my idea of religion and faith is to me. In the elementary grade classes, I learned about religions, about each religion's story, and the importance of those stories. In middle school, I had a lot of fun either watching about religious representation in media, like in TV, movies, music videos, and actually visiting in my 8th grade year with several places of worship to ask my own questions and to kind of see how those services and those places of worship take place.
In my 8th grade year, those several places of worship, to ask my own questions and to kind of see how those services in those places of worship take place. In high school, I had the chance to have discussions with others about about different things, different topics we would bring up. And I learned how to have good debates with others who may not see the same thing that I do. And it was just great to kind of sit around and kind of just have these conversations. Outside of RGL, I had the pleasure of being part of the choir and also working in the preschool area with all of the youngest kids. I am very grateful to grow up in this community. I have enjoyed all of the coffee and the conversations, the coffee. I love the coffee, it's good. And I really hope that I'm able to come and say hi when I'm in town. So thank you all so much for watching me grow.
No matter where Annika may travel, we hope that she, as well as the other graduates from our church this year, Ivy Winter and Rylan Lanning, and college graduate Meredith Enerson, will always know that they have a spiritual home at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. We are excited to hear about the adventures, places, and opportunities they encounter as they make this important transition in their lives. A Blessing for Bridging by Maureen Killeran. As you step forward into your next chapter, we send with you our fondest hopes and blessings. May life bring enough challenge to fuel your dreams, enough affirmation to honor your gifts, and nurture to give your spirit peace. Believe in your vision, follow your dreams, and know always that when you return to us here, you will find the hands of friends. And I forgot to pause it, sorry.
That's all right, you got this. A lot of jobs. The other piece of our service this morning is welcoming in our members who have joined over the last, call it year and a half. Usually we do this once or twice a year, but because we have been apart, this is our first time doing this ceremony in a little bit. So I'd like to invite those participating in this portion of the service to come forward at this time. So we'll just hand the mic off. Yeah. Yeah, actually, if we could stand over here, because the camera is right there.
My name is Lori Stratman, and I serve the congregation as the president of our Board of Trustees. Today, we have the privilege and honor to welcome new members who have freely chosen to join the Unitarian Church of Lincoln in this last year and a half. Membership is a hallmark of our tradition. The gathered membership of a church is the highest authority in Unitarian Universalism.
So members and friends of the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, today we welcome new members into this congregation. This is a non-creedal church. There's no doctrinal test for membership. We honor different spiritual paths, knowing that all are called to search for truth and meaning.
Since our charter members joined together in 1898, membership in the Unitarian Church of Lincoln has been marked by signing one of two books. These are the people who have become members in the last year and a half, and they have already come up and joined us, but if there's anyone else that hasn't come up here yet, I don't see anyone, please do so when I call your name. So welcome Andy Larson, Julie Marie Jensen, Eric Jensen, Heather Hillhouse, Jason Slaughter, Jim Atkins, Marcia and Ray Cedardahl, Megan Keecha, Melissa Lashley, Nathan Johnson, Steve Otto, Michelle Howard, Peggy Christensen, and Jamie Suckelberg Scott.
So normally we would ask questions now of new members and of the congregation. So we are going to ask these questions of people individually as representatives of the congregation and new members. So, for the new members, you have come before us to join yourselves to this church. What is it that you wish to receive?
We come from operating backgrounds. We have walked other religious pathways. We come to be assured that we are one of supportive friends that are voices. Will be heard in reading, singing, and discussion. We come to share our talents and our gifts. We are here to join in community with all of you.
And as a representative of the congregation, we have Jason Slaughter, who's also up here as one of the members who has joined in the last year and a half. So, to the whole congregation, have we, members and friends of this community, prepared a place in this house and in our hearts to receive these people into community with us?
We have a place for them and receive them warmly. This is a place of friendship and freedom. We guard their dignity and worth as we do our own. In our search for truth, we honor their right for free expression. The church is a cradle of our dreams and a workshop for our common endeavors. We gladly share it with them.
You are welcome here. We will now present you with a rose, a symbol of new beginnings in this place.
I now charge you, as new members of the Unitarian Church of Lincoln, to share with us your creative thoughts, your vital experiences, your questions, your doubts, your discoveries, and the principles which matter most to you. To the whole congregation, are these people gathered before us welcomed into our community? If so, say they are with great rejoicing. Okay, I wrote a short homily knowing that this was going to happen. It's 5 minutes to 11, so we'll do the quick version.
Amen.
Last Saturday, I spent the morning with Kelly Ross and the folks that we have just recognized as our newest members, talking about their experiences, their journeys, this congregation, what it means to be a part of this community and of Unitarian Universalism generally. And as part of that class, Kelly asked each of us to consider which of the 7 principles on the wall over there most speaks to who we are in this moment. It's a classic question for Unitarian Universalists. If you ever get bored at coffee hour, just ask somebody what of the 7 principles is your favorite. And they will either answer at length or run out of coffee hour. I usually say that for me it's the interplay between the 1st and the 7th. That this idea that all have inherent worth and dignity and that we are all interconnected is the central tension that animates most of my theology and most of my preaching. But for the first time that I can remember, everyone in the new member class came up with the same principle to this question. And not one of the banner ones that we preach about regularly. No, they each in turn pointed to principle number 3. Acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. I thought about it for a second, and then I said, I know what I'm going to preach on next weekend. Acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth. Oh. The first part is pretty straightforward, right? Acceptance of one another. Here's a piece from a sermon that I preached all of 4 weeks ago. Now, granted, that's like a year in pandemic time. The point here is that we contain multitudes. There are as many ways of honoring the people who loved us into being as there are people watching this morning, and each family of birth or choice has a unique story of love and care. And this part we're good at, because this is Unitarian Universalism at its heart. Acceptance of one another. Now, I'll say today that is the bare minimum expectation for membership in this congregation. The 7 principles were written the year I was born. They have not been meaningfully updated since, and we'd probably go further now, right? Passive acceptance of one another is necessary, but it is not sufficient for a truly loving and authentic community. True welcome, if we live up to the aspirations of our faith, is about much more than acceptance. It's about celebrating each other. But acceptance is the necessary first step for that. We can't get to that celebration part if we don't start with acceptance. The second half of this principle, though, that's where things get interesting for me. Acceptance and welcome, that's like playing a C major chord in Unitarian Universalism. It's really where we start, and probably one of the first things that we ground ourselves in. But this other piece, encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, that's a little bit more complicated. Still a principle, still a building block that everything else is built on, but one that's not quite as commonly used. Call it, say, an E major chord, what Bruckner called the key associated with the music of contemplation. Each week at the start of our service, we say that we are about the work of transformation. That it is the vision of this gathered community, of each of us every time we come into this room, that we unite reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and the world. Explicitly, then, we are about transforming ourselves. We are about spiritual growth. Now, this is not about salvation. We don't have a sense of you were one thing and then you accept this faith and now you're something else. That's not us. But we are about growth, about the work of slow, patient transformation. I am not the same person that I was when I signed a membership book at a UU church for the first time as an adult. My faith is not the same as it was then. I have different questions now. Some because I found answers, others because the old questions don't really capture who I am now. And if we're doing it right, that should be the case with every one of our members. Spiritual growth is a process. It's not something that you arrive at suddenly on the day you join a church or the day you sign up for your first committee. It's not really a destination at all. As cliched as it is, sometimes it is the journey, the road, that matters. So we've all been changed in the last year. We've all been transformed in the last year. Some of those transformations we wanted to go through, some less so. In this service, we're marking two kinds of transitions in how people in this community relate to the church. From childhood to young adulthood, and from friend to member. But there are plenty of other transitions in the last year. How many of us have changed employment in the last year? How many of us had a change in our family, navigated a new way of expressing our identity? And because that ding happened, I have this terrible feeling that I may have actually muted this microphone for the folks on the live stream the whole time. So I'm going to go check that, and Bob's saying we're good. Okay. Brackets. We have our new AV system coming at the end of June, which means that we will be doing this nonsense for one more Sunday, and then we will be a little bit more streamlined. We are growing, certainly. That is the next thing on this page. We are growing, certainly. So last thing, because this service is going to run long, it's 11 o'clock right now, the principle doesn't say that we appreciate spiritual growth. Right? It says that we encourage spiritual growth in our congregations. That we encourage each other in spiritual growth in our congregations. This is not individual work. This is not work that happens in isolation. This is something we do together. We encourage, we cheer on this work of transformation. And sometimes that means asking hard questions of one another. How else might you frame that? Hey, are you still doing that practice of meditation that you talked about? How is it with your soul? Encouragement. And it's also important to say that the principle is not encouragement to spiritual growth by the minister. It's encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. This is the work of the whole church interacting with each other. So my charge to all of you, new members, longtime members, young adults, not so young adults, friends of the congregation, or folks just watching on YouTube from Saskatchewan, is this: encourage one another in your spiritual growth. Faith is not an individual task. It is a thing that we do together, that we encourage in one another. So accept one another. And as long as you are part of this community, do that work of growing together. May it be so. And amen. Our closing hymn is number 368. Now let us sing.
So this is a two-parter, and I can do that on video, but not in reality. So, Jamie, press Jamie into helping us out here. Bill, you're going to play it 5 times. Jamie and I are going to sing this lower part once, and then I'll pop up to the melody. And, oh, thank you, Oscar. And we'll do all 4 verses. So 5 times for you. Well, you all rise in body and spirit, because you've been sitting a while. So, go ahead, stand up.
Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be unafraid.
Let us
Sing to the power of the faith within.
Let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Let us
Sing
sing
to the power of the hope within.
Let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the hope within.
Lift your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the
Hope within.
Let us
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the
Hope within.
Let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us
Sing to the power of the joy within.
Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within.
Right. With that, we come to the end of our time together. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we are together again. Amen. And as a note, before the postlude plays, after the postlude, if you go out into the gallery, you'll find that the words that you have written of encouragement to one another are spread along the ground in the gallery. We invite you to take some time after the service to walk that road, to be encouraged in whatever transition you're in by the words of the members of this congregation. Amen.
Squished it. Un momento, por favor. Okay. All right. You asked for it. Actually, you didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it either. Just gonna go with the flow. I don't need no stinking pillow. I rode my bike past your window last night. I roller skated to your door at daylight. It almost seems like you're avoiding me. I'm carried along, but you got something I need. Well, I'm a brand pair of roller skates, you got a brand new key. I think we should get together and try to not be seen. I've been looking around a while. You got something for me? Oh, I got got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. Where's my bass man? I ride my bike, I roller skate, don't drive no car. Don't go too fast, but I go pretty far. Somebody who draws and drive, I've been all around the world. Some people say I've done alright for a girl. Oh, I got a brand new pair of roller skates, you got a brand new. I think we should get together and try them out to see. I've been looking around for a while, you got something for me? Yeah, I got a brand new pair of roller skates, you got a brand new key. Pair of roller skates, y'all. You got a brand new key. Thank you. That's all.
I'll send the service.
Yeah.